Hey guys, it's your girl Absolute ShayShay here, and I wanted to welcome you to my YouTube channel.
You got a YouTube channel?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel.
I didn't know.
And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on
Why
your
should we
notification bell.
subscribe?
You know why?
Girl, I don't know why.
You know why?
Can you tell us? Why?
So you never miss any of my stories. Today, we have an epic story. So, without further ado, let's get into the story. It's a juicy one. Hey my YouTube fam, it's your girl Absolute ShayShay with another video. Yes. So, this one is about me playing Matchmaker. Yes. I was a matchmaker. At least I hope I was trying to be, you know. So, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that button and turn on your notifications, because you don't want to ever miss any of my stories. It's banger. Yes. I know last time I gave you like a little short story, and you guys were like, we want more. We want more. So, today, I'm going to give you guys what you guys asked for. A banger story. And probably a little longer one. But yes, let's dive right in. Well, have you guys ever thought about, hey, I could be a matchmaker. Nope,
never thought of that.
These two can go together. Like, for real. And they didn't hit it off. Yeah. But it had nothing to do with what you did. Not at all. Yes. This is my story when I try to become a matchmaker. Yes. This story started out with me and my husband coming from a friend's wedding. The one I was trying to hook up with my girl London with, his name is
The
Devon.
one who just got married?
No. He's not the one who got married. What kind of friend do you think I am? I was coming up with these brilliant ideas. Yes, these brilliant ideas. Like, if it goes exactly how I want it to go, there is no mistaking that your girl is going to hook up her best friend. Yes. They were going to be together. I was already planning the wedding. That's how good this plan was. And then, I don't know. People don't listen. That's the problem. They don't listen. And I can't deal with people who don't listen. That's why I need y'all to hit the subscribe button. I need y'all to listen and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on your notification bells. Cause
Why should we subscribe?
you know why.
Girl, I don't know why. Can you tell us?
Do I gotta always remind you why?
Why?
So you never miss out on any of my videos? We all know that. So yes, let's get back into this story. Well, Devon, David, and my husband were like longtime friends. So when David got married, we were like, all right, hey, we got to go to the wedding. We went to the wedding. It was a beautiful little wedding, Not something I would have done, but that's them. They liked it. It was nice. So yes, and we were coming back from the wedding. It was the four of us in the car. It was my husband, myself. Your girl ShayShay had to look pretty at this wedding, yes. And Devon, and we had the photographer with us. He was another friend of ours, distant friend. So yeah, we're coming back from this wedding, and we're like, Devon, what's going on? Everybody's kind of married. You're the only one who's single. Why ain't you married? And he was like, man, I haven't found the right one yet, I got all these tail chasers, I ain't looking for that. And I was like, oh, so you are straight. You're looking for a girl. And he was like, yeah, I'm straight. What you mean? I'm like, hey, look, I ain't never, you never talk about any girls, so I don't judge, if you are, no. I'm like, I don't have a problem with gay people. Really? And he was like, but I'm not gay. I'm like, all right. But I'm like, look, if I hook you up with somebody, would you mind? He's like, would I mind? I'm like, He's like, no, I don't mind. Sure. All right. So yeah, on our way back, we all in the car and everything. And I'm like, I'm gonna call up my homegirl London. You know, she's like the second perfect, because obviously your girl here is perfect. I'm like the number one, yes. So yes, I call her up and I'm like, hey girl, what you doing? I'm coming back from the wedding. She's like, how was it? I'm like, it was all right, it was good, it was nice. And she was like, all right, that's good. How far along are you guys? We're driving back. And I was like, we're not that far from home. We're like about another maybe hour drive. Yeah, like an hour drive. Yes, that it wasn't that far. It was far, but we had covered most of the distance anyway. So while in the car, I'm like telling her, I'm like, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody, maybe not over the phone, but I want, for you to date somebody, because I know you're not seeing anybody. And who, the last dude wasn't all that. So let me hook you up with somebody. And she was like, I don't know. Are you sure about this? And I'm like, girl, yes. I'm like, he got a job. He trying to, improve himself. He ain't got no kids. Girl, this is perfect. She was asking me, hey, what does he do? What is he about? Who, all the basic little information that, your girl can give out. And I was like, hey, his name is Devin. He's cool. He's, laid back type of guy. And you're really gonna like him. And she was like, all right, sure, no problem, but the only thing is, I don't want to talk to him over the phone. I want to actually meet him in person, like for us to go out on a meet and greet kind of date. And I was like, oh girl, say no more, I got you. I ain't even gonna share that information with him. We're gonna meet up, we're gonna double date and kind of meet up at the place and whatnot. And she was like, all right, fine. Because I don't want to, there's guys that'll be a little bit pushy and all that stuff. I want to meet him in person. And maybe if we hit it off, I'll give him my number. And I was like, I got this. Yes, girl. So I got off the phone with her. And I'm like, hon, you got to tell him. And he's like, he's in the car. He can hear you. And I'm like, he don't understand what I was trying to say. You never know. You got to sell this. Make sure he's on board. And my husband was like, all right, fine. And so he like, yo, Devin, I think we got a girl for you. And he's like, all right, sure. Who is she? And I was like, oh, it's my girl London. And he was like, okay. And then my husband was like, you met her before. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? When did y'all meet? And he was like, the girl that had asked you to come and do, towel work for her. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. So then I'm like, I'm texting my girl and I'm like, girl, what did you tell me y'all met? And she's like, what do you mean? When did we meet? I was like, did you ask him to, come do some towel work for you? And she was like, oh, Devin. I'm like, girl, yes, Devin. And she was like, oh yeah, but he don't have my number. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, all right, no problem. And so, I get off the phone with her. And I'm like, well, I was texting, but yeah. And I was like, yeah, she's the one. Yeah, I kind of gave a little backstory of her, but not too in depth. Just the basic general information, her name, and that she had a kid, so that he's not surprised that she had a kid. And so I was like, all right, this is good. And he goes and asks, yo, can I get a number? And my husband's like, don't worry about that. She wants to meet you. She don't want to, she don't want you to give, to have her number. So then I was like, all right, we got this. So then he was like, all right, cool, no problem. We'll set this up. So I'm like, all right, for the next few days, this was a weekend. So the next few days, I'm like, I'm trying to, make my magic work. Your girl, I'm a matchmaker now. I'm like hooking people up. Yes. And so it didn't go like that. No, it ain't like flowers or daisies. No. It was really hard work because when people don't listen to you, they don't listen. So as I was saying, you know, people don't like to listen when I tell them don't do something. They go and they do it. And they do it and they mess things up. A few days later, I get a call from London yelling and screaming like, girl, what the hell did you do? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's going on? And she was like, I thought I told you not to give dude my number. I'm like, wait, I didn't give him your number. I thought y'all talked. She's like, don't you remember I told you I didn't give him my number? I gave him a number, just not my number. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how he got your number. Yeah. And then I found out that, you know, the number she had gave him, she had like switched the number, the last number around, and, you know, gave him the wrong number. And he went on a fishing expedition and, you know, try to decode some top secret number. Yes. The man was decoding numbers and he happened to fall on her number. And he started texting this girl and calling her when he got off of work and, you know, telling her he loves her and that I was telling him stuff about the girl. Poor thing, I didn't even say nothing. See, this is the reason why I tell you I can't be a matchmaker no more. He killed it for me. He went out and tell her like I was divulging the poor girl's information out in the streets. Yes, and your girl wasn't doing nothing like that. No. I'm like, when did I ever tell this man all this stuff? And he was like, you know, I told him that, you know, her baby daddy ain't nothing. This and I'm like, oh, no. Me? No. So they got me looking like Boo Boo the Fool in front of everybody. I'm like, and my husband's on the, you know, right next to me, and he's hearing this. He's like, no, nah, you don't talk to Devin like that. I'm like, exactly. So then my husband was like, you know, I got this. I'm gonna clean this up. And so he's talking to London, and he's like, London, I got this. You know, I'm gonna call, you know, the SWAT team. We're gonna fix this up. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna diffuse the flames. And so my husband's like, you know, girl, he don't know how the game is. That's the problem. He a little, you know, maybe a little too old-fashioned or something. He don't understand how the game works. I gotta teach him about the game. And so my friend's like, please do, because he a little too much. He going a little overboard. You know, there's some stuff that are sweet, you know, but there's some stuff that are kind of a little creepy. And I'm like, somebody come at me like that, I'm gonna block you. But she was willing to give him, you know, an excuse, a bypass, life support. I don't know, but hell, I know I wasn't gonna continue this. If guy calling me at midnight telling me, hey, I'm getting off of work, how was your day? Yes, it all sounds pretty, but not at midnight. Call me in the morning. What is shocking, let me tell you what is even shocking. Dude never told us that he had called her. Yes. He thought we were Boo Boo the Fool, that we were never going to find out. Like, Devon seriously thought that London wasn't going to call me and tell me that he's been calling her. Yeah. Yeah. He honestly thought that. So, yeah. And then so we're like, all right, since he going to play secrets, we ain't going to tell him. We're going to wait for him to come clean. Because I'm like, you don't want that effed up. You got to come clean. You know? So, yes. So, we waited. We like, all right, this is going to blow over in a few days. So, exactly. A few days later, it blew up. You know? Because he came up to us and he was like, yo, I think I messed up. Because homegirl not answering my phone calls. You know, she not texting back. None of that. And I'm like, wait, did I hear you right? Did you just say she ain't answering your phone calls or your text messages? I'm like, wait a minute, go back. I need you to go back. When did you call her when did you start sending text messages? I thought I told you not to call the girl. And that's when he's like, oh yeah, I got her number. I started texting her, you know, I was letting her know, you know, my feelings for her, that I was interested. And I'm like, really? So you feel that you that special that you can do this by yourself? Like, you know her better than me? Are we serious about this? And so he was like, I thought I knew, but she different. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's the reason why I told you we're going to set you guys up on a date. And then if she likes you from the date, y'all can exchange your numbers and y'all can do this afterwards. But wait until the date, because she wanted to meet you at the date, not be bombarded by phone calls and text messages. So Devon was like, you know, all right, I hear you. I understand. All right, it won't happen again. Lies. Lies, I tell you. It was still going on. People, I'm telling you. I am telling you. People don't listen. He did not listen. Not one bit. This man decided he was going to still do what he did, but think that it was fine and dandy. And, you know, my girl London, she was like, all right, you know, there's some stuff he was kind of all right, but there was a little stuff he was kind of like, this ain't working for me. And she was like, you know, the fact that he was calling to check up on me, you know, if I ate, if you know how was my day, those were nice. But the fact that he wanted to call me baby, I was kind of like too pushy. And so I was like, all right, babe, we gotta kind of get this ball rolling, because it's not nice kind of just sitting there with twiddling your thumb, because ain't nobody got time for this. So yes, I was like, all right. I went out and I said, Devon, look, my girl wants to meet you, and you know, she's not about playing games. So when can we do this? Because I know your schedule is different from her schedule, and her schedule is different from yours. So when you have time off, she don't have it, and vice versa. And so he was like, look, I understand. So let me know whenever, you know, we can do this, and I'll request a day off. And I was like, oh, okay, it's like that? Sure, I can do that. So I get on the phone and I'm calling my girl and I'm like, hey, look, he's willing to meet you, you know. She was like, you know, I don't work on Saturdays and Sundays, so we can do it on the weekends. And I was like, all right, you know, any day that you don't mind. And she was like, let's do it on a Saturday, preferably, you know, Saturdays, you know, it's Sunday, you're getting ready to go back to work, so let's do it on a Saturday. So I was like, all right, fine, no problem. But she's like, wait, I'm not comfortable going on a date by myself with him. So I'm like, girl, we weren't gonna let you go on a date by yourself with him. Like, we're gonna double date with you guys. So that was that. So I'm like, all right, I told my husband, I said, hey, babe, come here. I'm like, she said on a Saturday, so we gotta pick it on a Saturday. And he was like, all right, you know, I'll tell him, I'll let him know. And I'm like, all right, fine. So he goes out and he's like, yo, Devin, you know, she said Saturday, you know, so you gotta pick a Saturday. So he was like, well, I can't do this Saturday because I gotta get my car fixed. And my husband was like, okay, you know, what's wrong with the car? And he was like, well, I got this small little dent in the front bumper. And when my husband goes out and look at it, there, it literally looked like a scratch. And he was like, well, and I gotta get my windows tinted. Really? You gotta get your windows tinted and a small little dent removed from the front bumper? I'm like, that's more important? Right this minute, this is more important. And he was like, yeah, I gotta get it done, you know, I don't want her to think that I'm a bum. And I'm looking at him like, do you think we're that materialistic that a little scratch on the front bumper of your car and your windows not tinted, what? We're going out at night. Ain't nobody getting sunburned. So yeah, I'm like, it don't matter. But he felt like it mattered. So that's what he did. And he had that weekend off. So then he goes, the following weekend, and we're like, all right, let's do this. We got to do this. Because you know, again, people ain't got time to be sitting around waiting for you. So my husband was like, all right, Devin, yo, we're going to do this weekend. He's like, all right, fine. You know, he can, you know, call work and call sick or whatnot. And so, yeah, he was like, all right, you know, sure. I can take that Saturday off and we can, you know, go out. And I was like, all right, fine, no problem. And I called up London and I said, London, guess what? We on for this coming Saturday. And she's like, oh, okay, no problem. I'm like, girl, you got to get your hair done. You got to get your nails done, all this stuff. And she's like, girl, I got this. You know, I don't go nowhere not looking pretty. I'm like, I know. And so she was like, all right, you know, we're going to get this thing done on Saturday. And so Friday rolls around and I'm calling her and I'm reminding her and I say, hey, look, don't forget about, you know, our date tomorrow, you know, our kind of double date. Not me and her. And so she was like, all right, yeah, I'm ready. I got my hair done, my nails done. I even already found a babysitter. And I'm like, great, sure, no problem. We got this. So I tell my husband, I said, yo, remind Devin not to forget about tomorrow, you know, to be ready. We're leaving at, you know, about 7, 8 o'clock. Yeah. And so my husband, this is where he dropped the ball. So he's an accomplice in this. I blamed him too. He didn't tell him that Friday. He waited till Saturday morning to remind him. And he goes and he said, hey, Devin, yo, you know, don't forget, we're going out tonight with the girls. And you know what Devin said? Do you know what this man said? He said, oh, I gotta work tonight. I can't go. So, yes. And so I'm like, my husband calls me up and he's like, Devin said he can't go. Can you see if London would try to reschedule? And I'm like, what do you mean he gotta go to work? Can't he call his boss and say he's sick? Somebody died? Something? He's like, well, I don't know. He just told me he gotta go to work. I'm like, get back on the phone with Devin and tell him that he better call sick or something. He's like, I ain't messing with that man money. I'm like, so yes. And my husband was like, all right, no problem. Call him back up. Say, hey, look, can you call sick or something? The girl, you know, made all the efforts to meet you. Can you at least meet her? He's like, well, can you schedule it for tomorrow? So my husband calls me back and he said, can you reschedule it for tomorrow? He has, you know, his boss called him. He has to go in. And keep in mind, I'm not that type of person who's, you know, wanting people to get fired in their jobs. Not at all. So I was like, I'll talk to London, but I don't know. Let's see how she takes it. So I call up London and I'm like, yo, girl. He's like, all right, I'm ready. You know, you guys come to pick me up or whatnot. How we doing this? Are we taking Uber? I'm like, I got some bad news. And she's like, what? Bad news? And I'm like, can we reschedule? And she's like, wait, reschedule? I'm like, yeah. Devin said he had to work. And so, yes. It didn't go so well with London. London flipped out. London was like, I done took my time, did my hair, found a babysitter, and you telling me this man done stood me up, basically. And I was like, girl, I know. I don't know what to say. And she was like, I don't want to talk to this man no more. You sure? I'm like, we can still work this out. She was like, I don't want to work it out. He decided he wanted to stand me up after he told that the date was fine, everything was good, and the last minute he done stood me up. So yes, I went through all this trouble for Devin, for him to flake on me. Could you believe that? Yes, that's how it happened. And I said, I ain't doing this again. I ain't trying to be a matchmaker. Hell, if I knew anybody who was willing to be together and all that stuff, and all they needed was just me to come into their life and play matchmaker for them, they ain't ever gonna be together. Yes. They better find another matchmaker to hook them up, because it ain't gonna be me. I went through all that for this man to say he can't make it. So yeah, and then he afterwards try to fix it. It was too late. He coming telling me he apologized. I'm sorry. No. You put me through all this. And then you flake on us. And then you're telling me you sorry. Sorry ain't gonna do nothing. And so, yes. I refuse to be a matchmaker because of Devin. Because of Devin. Devin killed all hope for me. He made my job difficult. He made my everything hard. So yes. So now Devin's still single. And so is London. But I think London got a boyfriend now. Oh, for you guys who was asking, how I got a friend named London, what? Look, I think she was conceived in London. You know, the mama liked the name so much, she was like, I'm going to name my baby London. And that's how I got a friend named London. And we've been friends ever since. I think it's been going on about like almost 5-10 years now. Maybe longer. But yes, we've been friends and we're like two peas in a pod. Like she's my best friend. And so, yes, I'm like, Devin, if you're watching, know that you messed up. You messed up. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, smash that like, people. Smash the like. And I still see you still watching this video and you haven't subscribed. Yes. So yes, that was my story of how I almost became a matchmaker. So yes, don't forget to hit the like button. And y'all I thought we were better than this. I thought we were close. Y'all still haven't hit that subscribe button? Come on. Hit the subscribe button. Yes. Yes. All right. There you go. And don't forget to leave me a comment down below and tell me what you guys think about this story. Yes. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.